Hey TBC Kindle, I'm Brother Tyler, and we're here again today with another Kindle Daily Devotional. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about God's compassion, and I'm going to read from Genesis chapter 29, verses 30 and 31. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So we see this really interesting kind of drama going on here in the family, because Laban, if you recall from last devotional, Laban lied to Jacob and said, oh no, we don't give the younger daughter to marry first. That's not what we do in this area. But he didn't tell Jacob that. Jacob had no idea. He worked 7 years to marry Rachel, and Laban gave him Leah instead. And the Bible says in verse 31 that God saw that Leah was hated. Now, I don't know if Jacob literally was like, oh, I hate you, or whatever. That may be what it was, but sometimes hated can be used in terms of a comparative sense, like how Christ told us that compared to our love for God, we ought to hate our parents. Not as in, like, go up to your parents and actually hate them, but it's a comparison thing where you have to love God so much immensely more than your family or your friends. This could be something like that where, yeah, he loved Leah, but he loved Rachel even more. But we don't really know. It could be that he just had kind of a bitter taste in his spirit, in his mind, or whatever, because Leah was the one that he didn't ask for, and Laban gave her to him anyways. But whether or not it was true hatred or just comparison or even just a dislike, God still saw the predicament that she was in. Now, it's really interesting that both of these girls were barren, which means that they were not able to get to have children. And I don't know what it is with this whole thing, because Abraham's wife was barren, Isaac's wife was barren. I don't know if it was a common thing during the time, but it's seeming like it. It's like every time a patriarch gets a wife, there's trouble with this. But either way, it's awesome to see God's way of looking at things, because he didn't just see Leah in her distress and say, oh, it's too bad, let me go take care of this over here. No, he saw that she was hated. He had compassion on her in her situation, and God intervened, and it says that he opened her womb. That means that he allowed her to have children. He was the one that was in control of that. So here we see a little bit of God's sovereignty and power coming into play, because he was in control of what was going on here. And because of his compassion, he reached down and he intervened on their family situation so that Leah could be seen better through the eyes of Jacob. You have to know that during this time, a woman having children was like everything of a woman's value in this time period. Now, obviously, we live in a totally different day, but this is where, when the Bible talks about, family having, a husband and wife having a quiver full of arrows, in Bible times, in this time, it is very highly looked upon. It's something that is what everyone wanted, was to have a lot of children. So a woman that wasn't having kids wasn't typically culturally good. People would see that as, oh, what's wrong with her? She's not having children. That's just the times that these were. So I want to give you this encouragement today, and I know that, Leah's situation doesn't necessarily relate to a lot of us exactly, but God sees exactly where you are. God has compassion towards you in any trial that you face in the future, whether it's right now or far down in the future. Maybe even in the past, you can say, yeah, I remember when God saw compassion on me from this thing that was going on, and he stepped in and he changed the situation. Now, I hope I gave you some encouragement today and a little bit of a challenge. Thank you so much for watching today's devotional. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. God bless.